Hello. How y'all doing? Sorry, I'm trying to get my light here so that my book is illuminated a little bit. Hello, how's everybody doing? So, I don't know if everybody knows or not, but I have a certification exam coming up this week. Not this week, this month. So, I am just going to be sitting here studying, doing some questions, answering some questions, and then just kind of sometimes if you have somebody sitting here studying with you, even if it's not really a whole lot of anything going on, it's just some good accountability. I'm good. Sorry I've been like MIA this week. I haven't been feeling the best. I've had a lot of stuff going on. It's just been a crazy week. You have one in 2 months? Yeah. Which one are you doing, Pure Beauty? You need a tutor. So if you go up to the link in my bio, I am actually not doing any coaching at the moment, but we do have Kristen Robinson that has been doing coaching for us at Legacy for students that are not of the Legacy program. So go out there and see if she has any time available. And she can absolutely help you with some coaching. Legacy is where I am an instructor at. So Legacy Education. Hey Guppy, I have a MacBook Pro. That's what I use because I do a lot of content creation as far as like YouTube and things like that go. But you can do the courses and you can do everything with just even as little as like a Chromebook. I've had a lot of students that have had Chromebooks or they just do it on their tablet. As long as you have the ability to... Sorry, I have a hair and I can't figure out where it's coming from. As long as you have the ability to play videos and do all of that kind of stuff, then you should be fine. Heather, good. I'm glad the notes have been helping. So Adriana, if you are struggling with cases, like with the practical application cases, don't feel bad. A lot of people struggle with them. A lot of people kind of let those discourage them, but don't. What is going on? Sorry, my computer is acting super funky. Don't let those bring you down because those are hard. Those are meant to test your ability to use your manual, code from scratch, do all of those things. So what I like to tell my students, if they're struggling with the practical application code or the practical application assignments, just basically do them, get a 70 and move on, and then use your chapter review exams and things like that to prepare from a testing perspective. And then after you have passed your exam, then you can focus and hone in on your, what are the words I'm trying to say? Focus in on like your coding from scratch perspective. I don't like this angle, but I don't like that you can't see that I'm doing stuff. Devin, if you have to extend your self-pay scores by month, I don't know what AAPC's price is. I will be totally honest. I would reach out to them and ask. How long will it take you to redeem a code for Vital Source? You're active on Blackboard. You never got an email for like your ebook, for the textbook? Is that what you're asking about, Ashley? Do you need the current year books for the test? No, you can use current year or 1 year prior. Pure Beauty, Devin's asking about the extension for the course. So to extend it out 1 month so that you can finish the course, not the exam itself. Okay, so Ashley, when are you a student of Legacy? Or are you like an AAPC student? Okay, so when did you sign up? Because it could be that the physical copies of the books are coming. If you have not gotten your ebook, double check your spam folders or your junk folders. And then if you have not gotten an email from AAPC with that voucher for the textbook, then email Rachel and she can look into where your ebook voucher code is, because you should have gotten that. And if you didn't, we can look into it. But like I said, double check your spam or your junk folder, because that's where some students have been going for some reason. And then if it's not there, then reach out to Rachel and she will look into it. So I am just doing some practical application assignments for the CPB. That's the exam that I am doing this month. I will be totally honest. Like, I have like instructor experience with it. I have a lot of real world experience with it. I've just never like sat for the exam. So that's all I'm doing. It's just making sure that I know the types of questions that they're going to ask and all of that kind of stuff. But after my CPB, I'm trying to decide, because I'm a glutton for punishment. I know I am. I'm trying to decide which one I want to do next. Sorry. My allergies are killing me today. You only got your ICD-10, CPT, and your workbook. So you're waiting on your HIC picks, and then the textbook should be coming as an ebook, Bama Girl. So check your email and like your spam and your junk folders. And if you have not gotten a voucher code, I don't know why my brain is not wanting to, because I haven't taken my medicine today. That's my problem. If you have not gotten any of your vouchers for the ebook for the textbook, then email Rachel. Good morning, April. How are you? So I'm just over here doing some studying. Hang on, my husband's calling. Let me pause it for just a second, because who knows what he needs. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I have a vet visit with the pup a little bit later, so he was just calling and checking on that. So April, you are moving to Florida. That's exciting. Hey, Julie. No, you cannot tape in notes. That has never been a thing that you can tape in notes. So it just so happened that you had a proctor that was letting you do things that you weren't supposed to do. But no, you are not allowed to tape in notes. You have to write in all of your notes. You can't tape, you can't staple, you can't do post-its, you can't add writable space into your book, but you can write on anything that is already blank. April, I am studying for my CPB. So I have experience with billing. I've done billing for years and all of that kind of stuff, but I've just never like actually sat for the exam. So I'm just doing some practical application assignments and just some questions to just make sure that I know what to expect that's thrown at me. Yeah, billing you have to know a whole lot. Well, you have to know a little about a whole lot. Whereas with coding, you just need to know a whole lot about your specialties. But yeah, billing is definitely somewhat stressful for sure. What part of Florida are you moving to, April? Where are you at now? Is Florida a big move for you? Florida has 316 Medicare Advantage plans. Yeah, Florida. We have Florida Medicaid at my work, and it is not my favorite. Let's just say. Florida Medicaid is a whole beast in itself. So yeah, that's a pretty big move. Going from Oklahoma to Florida. So India, you completed a medical billing and coding program from a community college, but it didn't prepare you to sit for the CPC. What do I recommend for self-study tips? So go out to the YouTube channel. The link is up in my bio. On the YouTube channel, there are a ton of videos with study groups, like study group sessions that I held, that will help walk you through questions and all of that kind of stuff. So that's a good option. Do the book prep if you have the finances to do book prep. The book prep will literally walk through the book, go through all of the guidelines. It will help kind of like highlight the differences between codes and all of that kind of stuff. The study groups, all of that is free. Book prep, if you want to get that, then it is for purchase. But if you can't do book prep, then that's totally fine. You can just do book preps for like the section that might be like a little bit more heavy for you that you may not understand as well. And then, like I said, just go out on YouTube. There are a ton of videos out on YouTube as far as like coding and process of elimination and all of that kind of stuff. Would I recommend getting the CPC before the CRC? I do, because when you're doing billing, you have to know some coding. So in order to do the billing, you have to know some of the guidelines. You have to know how to interpret certain things. Not saying that it's impossible to do code or to do the billing before the coding, but it does help you understand the concepts of the coding for the billing aspect. So yeah, I do recommend when we do our dual courses with our students, then we absolutely do the CPC before the CPB unless they specific. Oh, you said CRC. Yeah, I would, sorry. Totally wrong, read the wrong thing. I would do the CPC before the CRC. Sorry. I totally read that wrong. April, you're leaving May 26th, the day before my birthday. So Memorial Weekend, you're going to be traveling. Traffic's going to be awful. Good luck. Hey, Danny. So Sarah Sue, what is book prep? Book prep is basically, it's documents that, at least my book prep, that help you write specific things into the books so that it groups the codes together. It gives you annotations. It gives you all kinds of stuff. So my book prep documents are fairly simple to follow. Some people's, because there's multiple different ways that you can book prep. Some people's book prep is a lot more intense and includes a lot more information. I am of the mindset that I want to make sure that the notes that are put in there are going to benefit you the most during the exam. So my book prep is exam focused for sure, where some people's are more midterm heavy, more like real world focused type thing. But that's where mine kind of goes, is more towards exam prep. Best way to learn and correctly code E&M. Know your guidelines. That's the easiest. Like once you get in your guidelines, let me show you guys what I mean. Once you are in your guidelines, make sure you know your definitions, or at least know where to find your definitions as far as what is considered an acute stable illness, chronic stable illness, all of those types of things. Know your guidelines. That will make the selection of your MDM like so much easier. You don't have to memorize them, but if you know where to find those definitions, then that helps tremendously. So we did a CBC. Automated. CMP. Sorry, I was trying to read that question and figure out which code I needed to choose. You're hesitant to move on from chapter 5. Not sure I know the guidelines enough, or will the other chapters still go over? So chapter 6, yes, chapter 6 is going to be your intro to CPT. But as you move into like chapter 7 through 20, you're going to have ICD-10 still thrown in there. And you will have like more practice with ICD-10. Chapter 4 and 5 really just kind of like dump the information on you and then get you familiar with it. And then chapter 7 through 20, you will kind of apply that knowledge a little bit more, like in relation to procedures and why we're doing certain things and things like that. You had a good study session with ChatGPT, yeah. Were you asking them for questions? How did you use ChatGPT? I'm just curious. What's the hardest chapter of the AAPC? It is hands down chapter 10 for cardio. My opinion, a lot of other students' opinion. Yeah, cardio is chapter 10 is pretty hard. Yeah, April, that's a good plan. Focus on the ones that are your lowest scores. Absolutely. And then study those and yep. What makes it hard? The cardiovascular system, just in general, is an intense body system. There's a whole heck of a lot of verbiage and anatomy and all of that stuff that comes with it. And I think that's what makes cardio so hard. Yeah, your med term, yeah, guidelines. You've got a bunch of modifiers. Yeah. So you're doing your exercises, going to the website, yeah, doing practice questions, and you feel like you've been doing good? Good. Do you have your AAPC practice exams? Yeah, and that's what you're saying you're getting the good scores on? Good. Good. Absolutely. That's a great plan. You're doing everything that I suggest. So, great job. Gonna try to take it again. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So Renee, you can grab the AAPC practice exams from us. And then don't forget to use that TRCC code for 10% off. And you'll get them cheaper than what you would get them if you went directly through AAPC. Love Kill. So the billing and coding certification through NHA, the CBCS, is that the one that you took? The CBCS. That one, I don't want to say that is why, but that typically most employers will recognize that as a billing certification and not a coding certification. So unfortunately, I don't recommend doing the NHA certification and doing the AAPC if you can. Just because, like I said, that NHA is really considered billing instead of coding. The $10, yeah, Renee, the $10 ones, those are AAPC written questions, but they are not true official practice exams. But those AAPC official questions, those can absolutely help you prepare. Love Kill. So the AAPC CPC exam, that's going to be your coding certification. Yeah. Your CRC, Denise. So some examples, or some advice on CRC. Yeah, I would make sure you know your guidelines. Do your practice exams from AAPC. Make sure that you know, like I said, know your ICD-10-CM guidelines. Like that's key. Make sure in your study guide from the CRC, then you go through the different payment methodologies, you go through the different audits, you go through all of those other chapters. Make sure you know your pharmacology, like general pharmacology, so that you know what medications are going to support certain conditions, things along those lines. So Sarah, you do get one AAPC official practice exam. And then all of the practice questions that are written by AAPC that I was just talking about, those are actually loaded into Blackboard for you guys as students. what spiral book am I using that has questions? This is something that I just printed out from the CPB course. And then I took it to Staples and got it bound. It's not any book that you guys can purchase, but it's the practical application questions that you can download from the AAPC CPB course if you are in it. My neck is super tight today. Renee, what are you asking to repeat? Sorry. You're sitting for the CPC exam next week. Any hints? Any helpful hints? Do your AAPC practice exams. Can you hear the dog snoring? Sorry. I don't know if you can see her. She's knocked out. Do your AAPC practice exams, know your guidelines, do as much practice as you can. That is that's your key. That's 100. Sorry, I'm laughing at Jennifer because this dog, I have, the other two are in the other room, or it would be like tandem snoring. Do your practice exams, do as much practice as you can. And just know your guidelines, Tammy. Yes, I do the CRC. I do have CRC classes. So Renee, in the CPB course, then you have your practical application assignment, and directly above your practical application assignment, you have a PDF that you can download and print out. And those are the ones the PDFs are the ones that I have saved and then printed and took those to Staples and printed them out. That's what these are. Can you have music in the background as long as the prompter doesn't hear it? I will be totally honest, I wouldn't risk it because they may think that if they do hear something, they may think that there's someone trying to tell you answers. So I wouldn't recommend it. Hey, Crafty. I know I've been live a little bit. I have, but I haven't. I've been kind of MIA this week because I haven't been feeling the best. My hair, gosh, I have so much hair and it's falling out. Finally made it to CPT, or chapter 10. Yeah. Chapter 10's a beast. Welcome, Tia. For the PDF, for if you're in the billing for the AAPC course, whether it's through us or directly through AAPC, you can get your practical application PDF and download that. And then from there, you can either print them or, like I said, I sent them to Staples and had them printed. Do I provide any notes for CRC? Right now, I don't. You can use the ICD-10-CM guideline notes that I have for the CRC, but I don't have anything specifically marketed for the CRC, if that makes sense. So like your different payment methodologies, your different audit types in pharmacology and all of that kind of stuff. Right now, I do not have anything like that printed or put together. I can put that on my list of things to do. Let me find my notebook. My handy dandy notebook as I'm knocking all kinds of stuff down. So, I got that done. I got that done. I got that done. Do CRC notes. As you can see, my list of to-dos is a mile long. So I am working on my lists have kind of combined somehow. I might have to reorganize my lists because my lists are combined and not as separate as I want them to. Yes, it's under, if you're in, yes, it's underneath the experiential learning. Yep. And then your actual assignment is called practical application, but it's underneath the experiential learning heading. Yep. What are the best notes to take down for the end of section notes? I'm not sure what you're asking, Crafty. The end of section notes for CPT, CPB, CPT. I have all kinds of acronyms going today. So are you doing directly through AAPC or where are you taking your course at, Renee? Are you in the CPC or the CPB? Because CPC does not have a printable version. CPB does have a printable version. I do not know personally of any internships that you can do while you're in your course. I will be totally honest. Crystal, your books have to be either current year or one previous year. So for 2025, they can either be 2025 or 2024. How will I know what to book prep like everyone does in the books on TikTok? I have book prep documents that are available for purchase so that you can prep your books like a lot of the people are. A lot of the ones that I have seen are ones that are students of ours or ones that have purchased our books or our book prep because they've tagged me in it. So I don't really know if there's others that people are doing. But grouping it and all of that, I have book prep documents available. You can find those at the link in my bio. Okay, CPC does not have the printable, but if you are in the CPC course, sorry, if you guys could see this stack of books and the little bitty book that I'm looking for is on the very bottom. Your printable is in this training manual for the practical application. So this is your cases that are printed out. If you want that, that's this. CPB does not have a workbook with it, so that's why they give you the PDFs. Are there any apps that I recommend? The only things that I recommend, and it's just from making sure that you get the most correct information, is only AAPC licensed materials. So I don't like Quizlet. I don't like Pocket Prep. I don't like all of those because those are not written by AAPC and there's no way to validate whether or not they are going to be questions that you're going to see on the exam. There's no way to validate if it's up-to-date information. If you are a student and you're trying and you get a wrong answer, then there's no way to really say that information is correct. I guess that's the best way. You went to message me and you can't find our messages. You should be able to message me. How few ICD-10 as far as the CPC goes, Sherilyn? Yeah, most of the questions on the CPT or on the CPC are going to be from CPC. Or sorry, they are going to be from CPT. Yes, most of the questions are, you will have some ICD-10 questions thrown in there. But yeah, most of your exam is going to be focused on CPT. You have a few more classes before you graduate. What course or what program are you going through, Tia? Yeah, a lot of your programs, especially like the longer ones, they're not going to focus much on coding. They're going to focus on all of your fluff courses, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. I missed a whole lot of comments there for a second. Raven, I did the same thing. I mean, granted, this was years and years and years ago, but I went through an associate's program and I spent more than 15. So I'm still paying off student debt. It sucks. I think that's why I encourage people to look at courses like ours that will just strictly prepare you for the exam and not give you all that fluff stuff, because all of that fluff stuff is not needed. When will I do my next live stream? So I have a sub-only live stream tomorrow morning to cover cases. And then I have sub-only live stream on Sunday to do book prep. I will probably go live for non-subs either Saturday or Sunday, but I don't know for sure yet. The book prep is PDF. The link for book prep, if you go to the link in my bio, the link tree up in my bio, let me pull up TikTok on my other phone. Hang on just a second, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get there now. If you go to the link in my bio, and then you click on this link tree here, then it'll pull up. And so you'll scroll down and your book prep is going to be here. So this is where you go to get book prep. Our course, you have access to the course for 12 months, but you can complete it at whatever pace you need to. Hey, Nancy. Yes, everything that you purchase on our website is, you use TRCC, and that will give you 10% off. Yes, every Sunday we do book prep, but you have to be a subscriber to get to it. I'm going to check my answers here real quick. maybe, there we go. The E&M calculator, you can't figure out how to use it. So you have to know what you're selecting in order to be able to use it. So you still have to know your definitions and all of that kind of stuff, but I'll show you guys here in a minute how to walk through it. Can you believe they sent us the 2025 manuals and you never opened them? So what manuals did you use, Raven? Because you should be using 2025. The instructor led. The instructor led. So instructor led, you will have 12 weeks of course with me, but you still have the 12 months of access. So if you complete your assignments at the rate that we cover everything within the 12-week course, then yes, you will be done in 4 months. But if for some reason you need to wait to do the assignments or whatever, then you do still have up to those 12 months of access. Congratulations on that 3.8 GPA. That's impressive. Yeah. So, and you said you're the one that's going through UMA, right? Unfortunately, that's not an uncommon complaint, is that they're not really teaching you what they're supposed to be teaching you. I've heard some students say that, they got some information out of the course, and I've had a lot of students or people say that they haven't. The dual courses, if you take them with Legacy, then you get 12 months per course. And we don't enroll you in them both at the same time. It's a rolling enrollment. So you will complete one course, you will get certified, and then we will enroll you in the next one, and then you will have 12 months from there for the next one. Oh, you're with Valley in West Virginia. Sorry, somebody else said UMA, but I can't remember who it was. I thought it was you. Have a good day, April. So they gave you ebooks. Was it the coding manuals that they gave you ebooks? Does that make, I'm just confused on, did you even learn coding if you didn't even really crack open the coding books? I guess that's where I'm just kind of lost on not necessarily what you're saying, but I'm just lost on the program in general. They only gave you like a 2-week coding class. Yeah, it sounds like it's more billing based program, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what it was, is they prepared you more, or did they quote unquote tell you that they are preparing you for the CPC, or what program did they say, what certification did they say that they're preparing you for? Yes, if you take our course, we are an AAPC licensed program, so you will be ready to sit for the AAPC CPC. If you're doing the billing, it would be the CPB. If you're doing the risk adjustment, it would be the CRC. But yes, you will be prepared to sit for AAPC exams afterwards. They offer workshops after you graduate. Unfortunately, workshops are not going to teach you the amount of stuff. I mean, it might be a good review, but Showtime, I will be totally honest, I do not have any experience with the CCS. I have AAPC certifications. I do not hold any AHEMA certifications. So I would probably not be the best person to give you advice on what to study because I don't know how that exam is structured. I wish I knew. I wish I could give you some advice. That may be something that I work for moving forward, but I have tried to learn ICD-10 PCS and my brain just cannot wrap around it. So Mary Saul, are you asking about the self-paced versus the self-study? Or sorry, the self-paced versus the instructor-led? Is that what you're asking, Mary Saul? Or are you asking true self-study? Because self-study and self-paced are two different things. So I want to make sure I'm answering the right question. What is the difference between risk adjustment and billing and coding? So let me kind of break that down a little bit more for you. Billing and coding are two separate things. You will have some programs that will say they are giving you a billing and coding course, but really you're going to be studying mostly billing. So coding is going to be actually extracting the information from the record and assigning codes. Billing is going to be more based on the information that the coder has submitted. And then if your insurance company has denied it, you are going to find the root cause of the denial. So you are not, as a biller, you are not doing any coding. So those are like sisters, right? They're related, but they're different. And then your risk adjustment is only going to be focused on coding the conditions or the ICD-10s and then helping determine what the risk of insuring or taking on the care of that patient would be. So hopefully that makes sense. Actually, the lives are not, because we don't have any physical way of adding you to the lives. But you do get the book prep documents that are located in Blackboard as a component of the course. The lives are just me doing the book prep on live. So you get the documents, you get the book prep. You just don't get the video of me doing it, if that makes sense. Yeah, modifiers, you definitely want to know modifiers. Okay, so you want the instructor-led. So the instructor-led CPC course with our program is $3,700. You get, and I have it all written down here. I'm just going to figure out where my notebook is that I have it all written down. I know it, but I want to show it to you guys. I really don't know where my notebook went. I don't think it's in this one, but oh no, it is. It is in this one. So with Legacy, let me unmirror this for just a second. So with Legacy, this is everything you get with the course, okay? You get your course itself. You get, oh, on this side. You get the course itself. You get the textbook and workbook. You get 3 coding manuals, your book prep. You get as much coaching as you need. You get 1 official AAPC practice exam. You get 50 to 75 questions additional per chapter. You get resume services, 1 year of an AAPC membership, 2 exam vouchers for the exam, Practicode, which removes the apprenticeship, your internship after you've completed Practicode, and that will give you on-the-job experience. And then you get 3 hours of instruction with me, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And that is your $3,700. But you can also use this discount code TRCC and get 10% off. So that brings it down to like 3,200, I think, 3,300, something like that. So this is everything you get in the self-paced. And then you just add on 3 hours of additional instruction with me for the instructor-led. Queen DD. Yeah, if you want to try the program again, absolutely. Reach out. We can definitely have a conversation. Have I known anyone that's taken any coding exam after receiving their RHIA? Yeah, I know, because RHIA is going to be more of like an administrative type certification. That's not even real. I guess it is technically a certification because you do have to sit for it. Your RHIA is going to be more like administrative side of things, whereas sorry, I'm going to turn this back around because this being not mirrored on me is weird. So if you're wanting coding, then a lot of your professional atmospheres will want a CPC exam. Yeah. Good morning, Candace. Most jobs say billing and coding. What would it be called for a risk adjustment? Risk adjustment coder is going to be your biggest, like job title. Sorry, hang on. I'm trying to. I will be honest, I've never really watched his videos as far as the exam tips, so I can't say whether they're good or not. I mean, I've heard a lot of really great things about him. I've just never taken the time to sit down and watch him. I will be honest, I barely have time to sleep. So, is the practice exam different from the final exam of the course? They're going to be different questions. They're going to be... they are going to be similar types of questions. And then, so your final exam for the course and then your practice exams are going to be very, very, very similar to your actual certification exam as well. The pricing for everything that I just showed, if you do the self-paced, it's $2,700. If you do the instructor-led, it's $3,700. But you do get your 10% off with that discount code TRCC. Natalie, I do not offer RHIT. Hey, Shaylee. How should you determine which to start off? Or Tracy, are you asking about certifications? Yeah, which certification? I tend to encourage students to do their CPC first, just because that's going to lay like a good foundation for you as a coder. And then if you want to do specialties, you can do specialties. If you want to get risk adjustment, you can do risk adjustment. If you want billing, then you can do the billing certification in addition as well. But I like to start off with the CPC certification. If you do a dual course with us at Legacy, we start you off with the CPC course first. For our course, our enrollment is always open. So if you're doing the self-paced, you can start as soon as you get your enrollment information. If you're wanting... Yes. A neighbor shut their car door. So, we're going to have to wait. Nope, just kidding. Apparently, something is getting delivered. I'll be right back. All right, so you guys are gonna be the first to see these. I just ordered these to see what they were gonna be like. And I'm excited that they came in. So, I'm gonna get this open if I can. Good grief. Oh, these are so dang cute. So, I got stickers. These are really cute. Yeah, sorry, my leg is itching. I went outside with allergies and pollen and I am itching. Yes, if you do the sweet pay, then they 100% will give you your terms, and then you can either agree with them and accept them, or you can decline. You're not locked in. Car door equals danger. The wind to these dogs equals danger. It's totally fine. So look at these little stickers, you guys. Oh my gosh, these are so much better than I thought they were going to be. These are super cute. So I have t-shirts with my logo and then a cute little thing on the back. So for anybody that orders a t-shirt, you're going to get one of these little stickers. It's not huge, but I don't like big bulky stickers anyways. So these would be good to put like on a notebook or on like a computer case or something like that. These are really, really cute. But also, I haven't opened up another order yet because the last order I did wasn't huge. But I have t-shirts here. So it's got the same little logo. It's got my logo on it. And then on the back, it's got this cute little medical coder saying on it. So if anybody's interested in t-shirts, then I can reopen the order for sure. But I want to make sure that I have enough interest in it, so I'm not just ordering 2 shirts. Okay, sorry. Going back to comments. How much time do you think you should give yourself to retake after you fail the exam? It totally depends on if you feel like you have a lot of like a lot of areas that you need to study. If it's just one or two, your comfortability level, like if you know where you made mistakes, like all of that. So everybody's going to be different. I have some students that will just turn around. Like I had somebody this past week that did not pass on her first try, and she's already scheduling it for Tuesday. So she knows what she did and she's ready to jump back in. And then I have some students that might, wait like a couple of weeks just to get comfortable and familiar with things. Yeah. Yeah, most of our students, if they do not, I think we've only had a handful of people in the last couple of years that have had to take it more than twice. But yes, majority of our students, if they do not pass it on the first try, they will absolutely pass it on the second. What does the physical exam setup usually look like? Are you talking about in a testing facility? If you're in a testing facility, you will be in a room with multiple computers. It's all going to depend on the way that testing facility is set up, as far as like the amount of desk space and things along those lines. But if you are curious about the testing environment at a facility that's close to you, then you would have to contact that testing facility to see if they can give you information. So Lindsay, if you can't do out of pocket, we do have that sweet pay financing option. So you do 10% down in order to start the payment plan. And then after you've done the 10% down, we'll get you enrolled and then you'll just have a monthly payment. So whatever the cost of the course is, they will divide that up by your 12 months. They do have a small interest rate, but everybody's approved. So it's not based on credit. So as long as you have a bank account, everybody's approved for it. Tasha, yeah, I mean, I can talk about CPC a little bit if you want. Yeah, Sherilyn, I'm the same way. If I wait too long, then I just need to do it because I'm going to overthink it. So enrollment does not close. Enrollment, as soon as you enroll in the self-paced, then you get to start. There's not a deadline for the month or anything along those lines. If you want the instructor-led, then you just have to see when there was, when there's an opening. So the next class that I have open is on June 3rd. It's on a Tuesday. And then we will meet from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If June 3rd does not work, then I have a June 26th class. That's on a Thursday. Your instructor gave you a handbook for practice. So it's 100 questions. Each question is worth 1 point. That's the easiest way to do it. Book prep. Parts are whited out for copyright reasons. So anything that's whited out, you just don't do anything with that section. You will keep your book exactly the way that it is. You won't white anything out. I just have to do that for copyright reasons. Lindsay, you can do the course at any pace that you want. So if you wanted to and you cranked out, you could finish in 6 weeks if you really, really wanted to. But we just give a blanket 12 months of access because there are some times that life happens, that just things pop up, right? So you can do up to 12 months, but you can take it at any pace that you want to. Andrea, the passing score for the CPC is a 70%. Do I recommend CPC exam book prep or prep book on Amazon? Unless it is an AAPC study guide, no. The ones that are out there that are by random people that are written, those are not AAPC written questions. You cannot make sure that they are correct. I've had a lot of students send me questions and they have been completely wrong. So, no, I do not recommend those, unfortunately. Queen Dee, if you are a student, you get book prep included. What it's like testing from home on the camera. I will be totally honest, I have never tested at home, so I don't know exactly what they ask you. I know that they will ask you to flip through your books, but I don't know the extent, if I'm being totally honest, so I don't want to tell you wrong. Hey, Yellow Cocoa. No, so the internship is only for students that have completed the CPC course with Legacy. How does the yearly membership work? So once you purchase a membership and you are certified, then you will just have to renew your membership every year. You don't have to retest, but you do have to renew your membership every year. An easy way to find updated codes. The easiest way is if you have like an encoder. But as far as finding updated codes on a yearly basis, you would either have to watch like a webinar, purchase the new code sets, or anything along those lines, unfortunately. Sherilyn, I do not recommend the book or the exam prep books that are on Amazon for like the questions, the ones that are like $20 for 150 questions or something like that. Those are not written by AAPC. So they could potentially not be correct. I have had a lot of students send me some pictures of like the questions to ask why they got it wrong and why the answer is what it should have been. And their answer that it should have been is incorrect. So unless your questions and your book prep, not your book prep, your questions or your practice exams and things like that come directly either from AAPC or a licensed AAPC provider like us, then I would not recommend them. Would I suggest doing the CCS instead? So, the CCS is going to be more focused on facility inpatient coding. So if you are wanting to stay on the facility side of things, absolutely, the CCS is more appropriate. If you're wanting to go work for a doctor or for professional services, sorry, I have the hiccups. If you want to go work for a doctor or professional services, then at that point, that's when you would want to start to consider your CPC. So for the CPB course, what is included? Rachel just updated that. So let me look so I'm not telling you incorrectly. Because I do not want to tell you wrong, but I know that she did update it. So for the CPB course, you get, for the 1600, you get the course itself, you get the textbook and the workbook, you get coaching time with us as needed, and then you get resume services. So we do not include the membership or the coding manuals with the single CPB course, like the standalone course, because most of our students that do the CPB with us already have their CPC, or they already have a membership, or they already have their code manuals and things like that. Encoder Pro, yeah. Yeah. So you should be able to pull in your new codes from there. Yellow Cocoa. Hey, Teresa. Hang on. Let's see. Do you also offer book prep for ICD-10-CM and HCPCS? I have guidelines for ICD-10-CM, but I do not have tabular prep for ICD-10-CM or HCPCS. HCPCS doesn't have any guidelines, so honestly, it's a pretty straightforward book. Are the exam questions the same as a lot of the questions on the review exams? The structure of them could be the same. They may be similar, but there's no guarantee that they will be the same. But if you do your practice questions or your practice exams, then they definitely do prepare you for the types of questions that you could see. I don't like tabs, if I'm being completely frank and honest and transparent. I am not a tab person. There are a lot of people that do like tabs. I did purchase the tabs from someone here on TikTok Shop just so I could show people how tabs would function. But to me, this is big and bulky. And I'm going to spend more time reading the name of the tab than knowing where it is in my book. So I'm a huge proponent of not tabbing because I can navigate the book faster. And students that don't tab tend to learn their book and the layout a little bit better. Honestly, Lindsay, it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other with the CCS versus the CPC. It's just a matter of which setting you're going to be applying for. NRCCS. I've never heard of that one, Terrell. CPB is the billing certification. With your course, how long does it take to get the A removed? So if you do our course from beginning to end, so the course itself, you get certified, and then you do Practicode, then your apprenticeship will be removed. Looking to see if there's a separate admin code for RSV Medicare. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Worst case, go to CMS. That's the only thing. Like if you are worried about whether CMS has a specific one, go directly to CMS and then see if they have any guidance. Do I think starting as an HCC coder will pigeonhole you? No. I started out in HCC years and years and years ago. It did take a little bit of work to get out of the HCC world, but I did do it. It is possible for sure. Sean, yeah. Tabs slow you down. Yeah, I was doing the live last week, doing the tabbing, and like halfway through, I was already like, I'm over it. I'm overstimulated. These tabs are and they're just, I don't like it. It's not my cup of tea. NRCSS. Let me look, because I don't even know that I've heard of that one. I can tell you that the two most widely coding certifications, or widely recognized coding certifications, are the CPC and the CCS. But I don't know what that NRCSS is. I'm looking it up here real quick. My computer's just slow. If I can type correctly. Yeah, some of the tabbing, the tabbing system can definitely, you can spend a lot of money and then you don't even like it. So the NRCCS, National Association of Health Professions. Oh, hang on. Yep. This is not a widely recognized certification. I know exactly which one this one is now. This is one that, for lack of better words, somebody didn't like the way AAPC was running things, and so they created their own credentialing system. And so it's not, I hate to say it, but this is not going to probably land you a job. Majority of your jobs, if you go out and you look at job descriptions and job listings, they are going to put in there specifically requires AAPC or a HEMA certification. You've been billing for 10 years, no certification. I mean, it's possible. Yeah, if your employer is willing to write a letter for you, yeah, it's possible. You can hear the dog snoring. So there's two of them in here now. So there's this one here was the one that was originally snoring. Now, that's the other one. She's my old girl. She snores even when she's awake. Sorry, I rolled over on my blanket. Yeah, some jobs will pay for the CPC exam. Yeah. Yeah, Terrell, unfortunately, like, I wish I could give you better news on that, but I don't want to give you false hope. But yeah, most of your employers are not going to recognize this certification. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think this is it. Oh no, because this one was 1982. So they have other certifications from like a healthcare standpoint as far as medical assisting. That's what it is. And then they just made a coding credential, but it's not really considered coding, or at least it's not a reputable coding one. Yeah, I mean, they have like phlebotomy, phlebotomy technician, dental assistant, and it's really not even like the big ones. And that's what drives me crazy about some schools is they're like, yeah, this is a great certification, and they're not even like, the school's not even doing the research on it. Yeah, you can do your credentialing exam whenever there's an availability. Most of your testing facilities are going to be available 5 days a week. Mine is only available Monday through Thursday, the one that's closest to me. But if you want to do a weekend, then you can do it. Live remote proctor at your house. Yeah. Yeah, so most of them will have multiple openings. How would you self-teach? Lots of determination. You would want to make sure that you get textbooks that are going to give you good questions, like the Bucks step-by-step book. That's a good textbook to use. Make sure that you're watching YouTube videos of people that are reputable. Like myself, Medical Coding by Jen, Contempo Coding. She's got some good ones out there as well. The reason that a lot of people self-study is because they don't want to pay like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But if you haven't already looked into our program, our self-paced program that you can do at your own pace, includes everything. And I did the breakdown once of everything that our course includes. And then if you were to pay for those out of pocket, you're only saving like $200. So kind of keep a mind out for that. That studying for the exams is a lot more affordable now that there are programs out there like ours that don't like cost $10,000 in tuition type thing. Yeah, the exam itself for 2 attempts is $399. And then you have to do your $222 membership on top of that. So yeah, and then once you factor in the cost for your textbooks, and then your coding manuals and all of that, like, you're really not saving that much money. It's really crazy with the cost of everything now. Yeah, I'm a hardcore testing at a site person. Best advice on the workbook for chapter 4. Like for the CPC exam for your ICD-10, look at the conditions themselves. Don't try to read too much into it. Make sure you're coding something that is pertinent to the encounter. Make sure you're not coding any histories, things along those lines. That's my best advice for the chapter 4. It's $4.99 for 2. Yeah, $3.99 for 1, $4.99 for 2. Yeah. Lele, the website is up in my bio. So if you just click on my name and go all the way up to the top, then there's a link tree and it's in there. So it's medicalbillco.com/CPC. But if you go up to the link in my bio, it's up there. That's the easiest way to get to it. Oh, your job's paying for your class and your test. Yeah, it is a lot of information. Somebody said they got disqualified when their dog started barking. Yeah, then I would be out, clearly. I would be out because you all see how, I mean, they're acting like little angels now, but it does not happen that way majority of the time. 5,000, yeah, the first time you took the course. It's insane, the amount that some of these courses will charge you just because they can. Like, and it pisses me off. Like, I promise we're not all money hungry. We're not all, like, after, like, we care about you and we don't charge insane amounts because we can. For lack of better words. And that, it just irritates the living you-know-what out of me. The guidelines for CPT or ICD-10. CPT. Have you looked at book prep for guidelines that will kind of help break down those guidelines for you? So like, for instance, if you were to get the book prep that I have, it pulls out the most important spots. It helps put in little notes. And then you've got like different things and different notes and things like that. So if CPT guidelines are something that you struggle with, that book prep is available. If you... Sorry, somebody just commented, and it cracks me up every time. That like if I comment on something on Facebook, everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's the Tiffany Roach." I'm like, guys, I put my pants on the same way you guys do. I'm the same. Like I'm not anybody special. Like, it's just little old me. Like, and I think that's the difference. Is like I'm just me. Don't forget. And, there's a lot of people that, this is part of why my mental health has not been great. And I've been kind of behind the scenes more. And I haven't really been doing videos just because I don't really have the oomph to do it because I'm kind of struggling with a lot of things. And I kind of talked about this a little bit last week. Like, I got an email from someone. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to allude to what it was about. But just remember, when you guys send emails or you guys are not happy with a company or you guys are not pleased with something and you call and you quote unquote rip a new one, please remember there are people that are reading the emails. There are people that are answering your questions. And there are people behind the scenes that have real feelings. Okay. So I understand that you guys get frustrated, and I get frustrated too with things. But whenever I reach out and I express my frustration, it's not a personal attack, right? So know that person that is behind, most of the time, I'm not saying that there aren't some people that are out there, but most of the time, whatever wrongdoing was done was probably not intentional, things like that. And so when you are reaching out and you are expressing frustration or oh my God, the word literally just went away. Disapproval, disagreements, whatever. When you are expressing that, realize that the person that's listening to you is not, or reading that email, is not just a robot that has no feelings. Like, there are feelings involved, and anything that we do is not done purposefully. Our website went down last week, and there was a lot of frustration with some of the book prep that people had purchased, and we were working on getting it fixed. And there was a couple people, most people, 99% of the people were absolutely wonderful. And they were like, we get it. Things happen. Thanks for fixing it. Not a problem. But we did have one person that made it a personal attack. And they don't realize that there are people behind the scenes that, like, for lack of better words, guys, shit happens. And so that's been kind of weighing on me heavily. I am not one of those people that I don't do what I do for money. I do not do what I do. Trust me. Like, it's not like I, say, oh, I'm going to totally price gouge these people and I'm going to do what I do. Like, when I have to price out my book prep, we have to take into consideration the amount of time that it takes me to do things. We have to consider the amount of time that, we're having to do things, the fees for the website, the transactions and all of that. So I promise we don't price it to price gouge in any way, shape, or form. Like, there is so much behind the scenes that I don't think people realize that kind of go into play for the pricing and things like that. So I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry, I saw another questions come in. Yes, the AAPC study guide is a great, absolutely great resource. How many weeks does one accomplish the book prep for each main book? It totally depends on how much time per day you can, commit to it. I don't know why my words are not wanting to come out today. It totally depends on the amount of time that you can commit to it. I have some students that will do the book prep as they're going through each chapter and each section. And then they use that as a studying technique for that upcoming chapter. I've had somebody recently that they signed up for my June 3rd start date, but they signed up in the middle of April. And so they are spending all of this time just prepping their books. So it totally just depends on like kind of the approach that you do it in. It is not a fast process. I can tell you that much. But it is worth it. Hey, Mandy. Oh, thanks, busy mom. Candace, I know. I wish that we could like reach all the people without like harassing you guys, obviously. But I wish we could reach all of the people before they sign up to let everybody know that like, hey, there's a lot of options out there. A lot of people will just do their research. They'll see that AAPC is who does the credentialing exam. And then they see that they offer a course and go through them. And then they start looking at people and options and things like that. So. Oh, you're working through charts? Yeah. The hardest part of the exam, that's going to differ for everybody, to be totally honest. There's going to be some people that feel like the ICD-10 is hard. There's going to be some people that feel like CPT is easier. Modifiers tend to trip people up a lot on the exam. Everybody's going to have different exams and everybody's going to have different areas of weakness and strengths. So that's kind of it's not an easy question to answer, unfortunately. Yeah, Paula, it's not a quick process at all. But yeah, it does help for sure. Yeah, Path and Lab, that's one that's become kind of a popular topic as far as complexity. What type of book prep am I talking about? I have CPT book prep that's out there that helps kind of decipher guidelines and things like that. I have ICD-10 guidelines that we can do to prep. So here's like an example in the musculoskeletal system. So it really is just going to depend on kind of like where you're at. If you're doing the CRC, then your ICD-10 CM guidelines, because that's what you're studying with CRC, then those guidelines would be a good option. Yeah. Now, just be careful with using ChatGPT because it can be a great resource for explaining things. And like what I like to say is instead of dumbing it down, because I hate using that term, I used to always, and I still say it, like it makes a paragraph and it turns it into a nice, pretty picture with colors. I was just joking with a student the other day and I was having a hard time, like getting my words across. And, we were talking and I said, let me try to paint it in a pretty picture with colors because that's what I need to like make it make sense type thing. So ChatGPT can help with that. Just be careful, because I believe ChatGPT does not have 2024 or 2025 guidelines kind of loaded into the brain. So there are some aspects that it is absolutely fantastic and great, but it may not give you the most up-to-date information on some topics. So use it, but be very cautious of it as well. Don't get me wrong. I use ChatGPT for like helping me write emails and all of that, and it is a great resource. But just make sure that whatever ChatGPT is telling you is what matches the book if you're trying to use it in that aspect to break it down. Yeah, ortho is hard. The book prep. If you purchase individual sections, like if you don't need the whole book and you just want to do cardiovascular, those sections are $30 individually. If you want the entire book and you want to do all of the CPT, it's $235. But essentially, if you were to purchase everything individually, then you're getting a discount by purchasing it as a whole package. And then you can use code TRCC for Tiffany Roach Coding Coach. You can use that discount code and take 10% off. So that would knock it down about $23. What type of book prep is required? You don't have to do any type of book prep for CPC. It's just something that a lot of people will tend to do to help them interpret guidelines and things along those lines. Yeah, it's good for layman's terms. Absolutely. Yeah. Just make sure you're confirming it and verifying it. Oh, did you get the Betsy Shalian book, Sarah? I do not do anything on dental coding. I do have dental coding experience, but I haven't used it since like, I'm about to date myself, like 2005. But no, I mean, I have it, but I don't teach it. I refer to that book all the time too. Absolutely. I have it. I mean, you can't see it. It's turned around, and you can't even see that on the thing. But yeah, I have it and I refer to it all the time. I have book prep for CPT, and then I have ICD-10 CM guidelines for ICD-10, obviously. But I don't have like full on cover to cover for ICD-10 like I do CPT. Yeah. Yeah. After I graduated high school, like I did a couple like odd jobs. And then my mom worked at a dental office, and I went there and worked as an assistant for a while. And then I left there and went to be an assistant in another office. And then I ended up somehow doing all of the billing. And then I somehow ended up being an office manager for a little bit. And then from there, while I was at the dental office, I was studying for my CPC. And then that's when I kind of got into the medical coding side of things. Just Relax. The medical terminology book. Sorry, I have a leaning tower of books over here. Is this one here. The link for this is in my Amazon link in my bio. But this is the medical terminology book that we're talking about. So it's by Betsy Shalian. It's the medical terminology and anatomy for coding. But again, that link is in my bio for it. How long is our program? You can do the program at your own pace if you do self-paced. You have 12 months of access. So if you wanted to complete it in like 12 weeks, you could. If you wanted to take the entire 12 months, you could. If you've never been a biller before, do you want to take the dual class for your advantage? It's absolutely a great dual class to take, for sure. Yeah, I highly recommend it if you want it for knowledge. You worked at a hospital now in public health. Oh, you oversee 13 counties for dental and medical. What state do you live in? 13 counties for some states is tiny. 13 counties for like where I'm at in Kentucky. I mean, if it's including Louisville, where I am, it's huge. So 13 counties to me would be a little bit larger, but 13 counties in some states are pretty rural. So yeah, Rebecca, that book is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you could absolutely use book prep to finish out guidelines and kind of restudy them and refresh 100%. Yeah, New York would probably, well, depending on the area of New York, if it included whatever city the city is in, yeah, it could be huge for sure. I can tell my ADD is bad today, guys. Like, I can't focus on anything to save my life. I came on here to study, and not that I'm saying don't ask questions, because I love answering your guys' questions, but I cannot focus to save my life. Thank goodness it is Friday. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, as you can see, like, notifications on my phone are insane. Giving you a new perspective. Yeah, I will be honest, like, I've probably had it my entire life, and it makes sense looking back why, like, high school was so hard. And I've never been medicated. Like, even to this day, I'm not medicated. I take, like, supplements to try to, you know, kind of hone in on some stuff. Some days they work, some days they do not. And today is one of those days that it is not. Like, I feel like my skin is crawling, and I feel like I'm gonna lose my mind. So, yeah, I get it. You're gonna join the program in a couple of weeks. Awesome. So I actually just started using this friction pen because it's an erasable pen, and I've been trying them out. And I actually really like these. I was surprised. It's one of the ones that is more like a felt tip. It's not a gel pen. And I will be honest, I'm surprised that I really like these. Now, I did do, you guys could see the amount of pens that I have that I'm testing out is insane. I'm trying to pull them out here. So I have all of these that I'm trying out. Some of them are highlighters. Some of them are felt tip pens. Some of them are erasable gel pens. I'm trying them out so I can let you guys know what my favorites are and what I truly recommend. And now I'm knocking everything over. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just deal with it. But I did find, is it these? Yes. So I did find these. What brand are these? Lineon. It's an Amazon purchase. Yeah, it's an Amazon purchase. But I have started taking notes for my CPD, like definitions and whatnot. And they actually write really, really well and erase really well. And they dry really quick on the pages of the books. So, and they're actually like really good, like boldness too, not too bold. So these are really good. I think I might have them in my Amazon favorites list. If not, I will get them in there. But these are really good. And I'm really picky about pens. The other day I couldn't even do my end of the check. I know. I have days where it's like, I know I need to do things, but I can't. Like, I just physically can't. Yeah. I get it. Those additional questions at the end of the chapters, good. Those are the ones that I put in Blackboard, good. I'm really glad they're helping. Yeah. I know. I have an entire thing. I have an entire bookshelf that I have books all the way back from 2021. I use some of them from an auditing perspective, but I really don't use them as much. You can look into the Rocket book if you do written notes. I'll have to look at that. Let me write it down, because if not, I'm going to go. I know somebody told me about something, and I'm going to Google something about handwriting and an app, and who knows. So Rocket book. Okay. I will look into that. Julie, the ones that I'm missing, or the ones that I am using are Friction Fine Liner, and they're erasable. The ones that I was showing a second ago that are gel, these are, what did I say they are? Lineon. It's a reusable notebook. How does that work, Amanda? I'm going to have to go down the rabbit hole now, because I'm going to try to figure out how that works, because my brain won't wrap around it. Rocket book. Reusable notebooks and planners. Oh, so you write on the page, you scan it in, and then you erase it? Is that what you're saying? And then it essentially, like, you can reuse the pages that way? Do the pages ever, like, do they get thin after you erase it enough? That might be what I need to do all of my to-do lists. Okay, I'm really going to have to look into it. It's not regular paper. It's coated with something. Okay. Yes, 2025 will have new codes in it that 2024 does not. Yeah. Yep. You have the Friction highlighters. So I have these as well. It's the same brand. No, that's the same one. I have 2 packs of Friction ones. Let me find. I have these that are more like a gel pen. They're not as bold as I want them to be. So I'm still undecided. And then, no, that's a different brand. I will tell you guys though, from a book prep perspective, okay, because you all know how much I rant and rave over my Pigma Micron pens, right? These suckers right here. Nope, not these. Where's my other pack? Oh, here it is. I have some of them that are not in here because they're in my book prep, like, baggie of my book prep pens. But these right here by Mr. Pen, the colorful multi-liners, chef's kiss. Love them. They write amazing. They dry even quicker than the Pigma Micron ones do. Like, there's virtually no dry time at all. They are 0.1 thickness, so it's got a really, really, really thin tip. They write really, really well. So if anybody, these are in the link in my bio as well for the Amazon shopping list. So those are there. No, you are fine, Amanda. You are totally fine. I'm going to have to look those out. I'm going to have to look those Rocket books up and look into them and get one. Yeah, if you have 2025 ebooks, you may be able to transfer over. Yeah. Yeah, so she has an update type. Julie, you're going to love them. You are absolutely going to love them. They are freaking fantastic. But let me show you guys where you can find the Amazon link. So if you go to my bio, you click on the link tree. Nope, just kidding. That's not. I clicked on the wrong thing. Click on the link tree. And then you'll go to this Amazon icon. And then it's got my list of favorites. So you'll click on here. These are the multi-liner pens. These are the felt tip, which I really, really like as well, but they're a little bit thicker of a tip. So let me show you the difference in the thickness of the pens. So this is your 01. It's like itty bitty, right? Versus this one is thicker. So there is a difference, and I will like each one of them for their own respective reasons, but they are both amazing. So anything that I talk about that I love, they're all right here in this Amazon favorites list. You can use ebooks on the exam. If you use ebooks, they will not be your notes. It will be a completely blank copy of the ebook. So if you have any notes in your personal ebook, they will not be transferred over. So it's just a blank, like you had never used that ebook before. But yes, you can use the ebook in the exam now. Sorry, I just opened up my Facebook just out of habit whenever I pick my phone up. And I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky, and there was attack at a hospital last night. Patients basically took over a floor. It's insane. Insane. A coding carousel. I'm sure that they're nice. I do not have enough room on my desk. I mean, I have a massive desk, but I move things around all the time. So I've heard some people love them and rant and rave over them. However, if you are taking your exam and you are studying, they will not let you use a carousel during the exam. So don't get too used to it so that whenever you have to actually use them, that it throws you off. Or make sure that you practice without them from a testing perspective. Again, because I don't want you to get thrown for a loop. Oh. What else you guys want to talk about? I felt like there for a minute and I couldn't keep up with comments. They let you use it? Interesting. I've heard a lot of people say that they will not. So, Evie, the easiest way to explain what a coding carousel is it's like a lazy Susan that has like a triangle thing on top of it that you put your books on and then spin it so that you can see your CPT. If you're looking for your hick pick, spin it, and then that book is going to be there. But yeah, I'm really surprised because I've heard a lot of people say that their proctors will not let them use it. I think now, okay, so now it's going to depend on the proctor as to whether or not they're going to see that as a usable tool or not. Starting to prep and highlight your ICD-10 book. I do not group anything in ICD-10. ICD-10 already has indentations, and you're not going to have parent codes like you do with your CPT. So ICD-10, I do not do anything with the tabular and grouping. I only prep guidelines. Intimidated. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot for sure. Yeah. That's my concern with the coding carousel too, is I feel like I would get frustrated because it would be harder to turn the pages. But I think it just depends on the way that coding carousel is built. One of my really good girlfriends who is doing coding, she's in our course. She has one and she loves it, but she built it exactly how she wanted, at the right angles and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it totally is just going to depend. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. The first day of class is always the worst. I just started a class this Wednesday. And I feel like every Wednesday I always overwhelm my students, and I'm like, please come back the next week. Please come back the next week. And they do. And they always say that it's so worth it, but those first couple of weeks are so intimidating because of all of the information. But it does start to click. It does start to make sense. It does absolutely, like, it is 100% worth it once you get there. Yes, trust the process. 1000% trust the process. Is prepping the exam, or is prepping mainly just for the exam? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people will prep for the exam and while they're in their course. And then from there, after you get a job, most of your jobs will pay for what's known as an encoder, which is like a coding software on the computer. And so you don't really have a whole lot of prepping once you're on the job. Yeah. Thoughts about AI? AI will never take over. We will always need to be needed. There will always be a human element in coding. Now, our job titles and our job responsibilities may shift a little bit, but there will always have to be some type of element of the human review in coding. So a couple of the examples is we have an AI that we use. And I was reviewing a record one day, and the AI pulled out nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and infection. And when I looked, then they pulled it out of the discharge summary where it says, if you are experiencing nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, this could be the result of an infection. And so the AI was pulling it out of, it was there, but it wasn't a legit diagnosis. It was saying, if you are experiencing. So in those aspects, yeah, AI is never going to completely take over. Another example that I had somebody tell me was they were coding a chart and it appended a ICD-10 code for an incarcerated patient. However, whenever they reviewed the record, then it said that it was an incarcerated hernia and not an incarcerated patient. So there's always going to have to be someone there validating it. AI is going to be used, at least probably for the next foreseeable future, as a way for us to review long records more efficiently and more effectively, but we will still be needed 100%. I do not have anything for CCS prep. What recommendations do I have for prepping for the CPC? So obviously you're in a course, so that's step number 1. Do as much practice, as many scenarios, get your books ready, make sure you're familiar with your guidelines. Do as many AAPC practice exams as possible. So the pattern is just do as many things as possible so that no matter what question or type of question is thrown at you on the exam, you know how to use your book and find what it is that you need. Yeah. Online books. Yeah. I don't even use online books in my job. I use an encoder called Select Coder. And it's got all of the information there. So I don't even use online books. Like the ebooks, I'm not a big fan of them. The exam is easier than the class because of multiple choice. Yes and no, because there will be some multiple choices on there that you still have to know your guidelines and you still have to know everything. You have to know when to use modifiers, when to not. So they may give you the same code, one with a modifier, one without, and you have to still apply that coding knowledge and your expertise from there. Practicode, yeah. Practicode is good. It's a little frustrating, but Practicode is good. Yes, doing your case studies and your practical application assignments. Yeah, that is great practice. I tell my students, if you do not pass an assignment, you don't fail it. You are going to do the assignment. You're going to get the answers that were correct and the answers that were incorrect. You're going to get rationales and use those rationales to learn from your mistakes. Okay, so use a not passing score. I hate the word failing. So that's one thing that you will never hear me say is if you fail an exam, no, you just did not pass an exam. You're going to do it again and then you're going to pass. But if you do an assignment and you do not pass, then use whatever you got wrong and learn from that and use that as a learning experience. That's key number one. Never let a not passing score discourage you from moving on. Learn from it, read it, absorb it, and make sure that those mistakes aren't made again. That's the key. Just go to the chart with abdominal pain. Yeah. AI had a code populated as abdominal pain in pregnancy. It's an 85-year-old man. Yep. Sounds about right. Modifiers are hard. Modifiers are tricky. Yeah, for sure. The more you use them, the more you will get comfortable with them. Yep. It happens all the time. So that's why I say, even if it were to take over, it's not going to be anytime soon. It's not going to be in our lifetime. It has too much to learn in our lifetime to even be able to try to take over it now. Now, in 40 years, we might be having a different conversation. But right now, there's not. There's too many mistakes. There's too many mistakes. There's too many things. Like I said, where we may kind of transform our role to more of like auditing, like I said, but it's not like, and that's what frustrates the living bejesus out of me is the fact that there's all of these people out there that are like, oh my God, it's taken over. It's a dead field and it's this and that. It's not. Like, these are people that don't work in it to know. They're just hearing and fear mongering. Scores don't define you. 1,000%. And this is something too. Like, and I know I've talked about my history and my past and, you know, like my experience and all of that kind of stuff. But back in the day when I tested, I did not pass my first time. I got a 69% my first time. I would much have rather have, you know, not passed by like 30 points. But when I took it again the second time, I passed with a 71, right? That's barely passing. That is passing like I barely, right? But once you get in the job, you're going to learn things. And now I am where I am today, right? Now I'm helping teach you guys and helping explain it. So just because you get a bad score does not in any way, shape, or form define what type of coder you're going to be. You may have test anxiety. You may have gotten really dang hard questions on the exam, and that's totally fine. But use everything that you know and use that to shape who you're going to become. That's the best way to explain it. Yes, guideline questions, because the answer, everything is going to be in your book. You just have to find out where it is in your book. 100%. With doctor dictation and the fails with that, yeah. AI is not Like I said, it's going to be a tool that we will use to enhance things. Field is not oversaturated in any way, shape, or form. Okay, hang on. Let me rephrase that. It is not oversaturated with qualified candidates. Okay. Meaning, if you went to a school that's preparing you for the wrong exam, if you went to a school that does not teach you how to code, if you went to a school that does not set you up for success, then those can lead to oversaturation. But if you go to a school that has prepared you adequately, that teaches you how to code, that gives you the correct credentials, that gives you knowledge, you can go into an exam or into an interview and wow the pants off of these people. So if you are adequately prepared, it is not a saturated field. It is in a way, because it's not like if you are nursing or physician, because you're not just going to be able to throw a rock and hit somebody that's hiring. So it is going to still take some time to apply and get your resume out there, but it is possible. Okay. A lot of people, we live in a society now that it is immediate satisfaction, right? We expect that if we get done and we get our certification, we're going to find a job the next week. Everybody wants what they want now, right? That is not something in any field right now that is going to happen. You go into retail, you're still going to put in 10 or 15 applications until you get a call back for a retail job. Okay. So same is going to apply here. It is not oversaturated with qualified candidates. So that's why it's so important for you to make sure that you are choosing your course correctly, that you are choosing the correct certification correctly, that you are choosing the right path. That is so important. All right, hang on. Are books allowed for the proctored test? Yes, you can. It's absolutely not expected that you will have to memorize anything for your exam. 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the exam. I will be totally honest. I know that's where I struggled the first time that I took it, because that fueled my test anxiety. 1,000%. 1,000%. Because I have major test anxiety. Even if I know the information, and no matter how knowledgeable I know I am and how much experience I have behind it. Perfect example. I just signed up for my CPP exam. I have 20 years of billing and coding experience. I have worked in billing settings. I have taught billing for years, but I still have crippling anxiety around the fact that I now have a date to sit for this exam. It is one of those things that if you have test anxiety, you get it no matter what, right? So that's one thing that a lot of people is, it's just the pressure of the exam can get to them too. Yep, exactly. The field's only getting bigger because we've got more people that need. Yeah. Congratulations, Crystal. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's exciting. Time management issues. Yeah. So on the exam, you will not want to use your index. You will not want to code from scratch. Use your process of elimination and your multiple choices to your advantage. You can easily and quickly rule out 2 options, and then of those 2, then go in and see which one of those 2 options is your better fit. So Teresa, since you're on here, I know we've talked about this a little bit. So I had the t-shirts, right? I ordered these and I just got them in. They're stickers. Look how cute they are. Look how cute they are. These are adorable. So I don't know if I'm just going to like kind of include these when people order things, or if I want to, if I want to like list these to sale. I don't know. I haven't decided. Did I just say list them to sale? List them to sell. Oh my gosh. That is my biggest pet peeve, is when people say sale instead of sell and vice versa. Drives me crazy. And I can't believe I just did it. So I haven't decided if I'm going to list them to sell. Case studies get you. Yeah. With the case studies, you need to read your answers and your options and your codes before you look at the actual case itself. So that way you know what keywords your codes have, and then read the case and pick out your keywords that way. Versus if I were to sit there and read an entire paragraph, I'm going to read my codes and say, I don't have any idea what I just read. I don't know. But if I know what keywords to look for because I've already looked at my codes, then as I'm reading, oh, there's one type thing. So that's my biggest piece of advice. Sorry, I keep getting the hiccups. That's my biggest piece of advice whenever it comes to your case studies. Yeah, so I know that, like, for the people that ordered shirts that are coming in next week, then they're absolutely going to get a sticker with it. And then I have like little canvas totes that I ordered for me to see if I like them, to see if they would be sturdy enough for the code manuals. So I have those that are coming that I'm going to see if that's a good option or not. But I'm trying to decide, like, I don't want to, like, have too many options. I don't know. I don't want to make things, like, semi-affordable, too. I don't want them to be, like, if I were to do tumblers, I would buy the crap out of tumblers because I'm a tumbler fiend. But if I were to do tumblers, then shipping would be a lot more, too. So I have to kind of, like, consider that. So when to code the office visit and when not to. It's all a matter of what services are being done that day and who's performing them. A lot of the times case studies will have what procedure is done in a separate area. Absolutely. Start with like the headers where it says procedure performed. Yep, that's a good place to start. Yep, but still go to your answers first and then look at that procedure heading. 1000%. Good, Teresa. I'm glad you're having a good day. Yes, take advantage of it. But don't overdo it because that will probably make you have a bad day tomorrow. I have to make sure the battery on my phone is good. Yeah, make sure you don't overdo it because I know that, like, a couple weeks ago when I was struggling with that pinched nerve, I had a good day and I, like, overdid it, and then the next day it flared back up. So keep that in mind. Holy cow, guys. I did not realize what time it is. I have to run and take the dog to his vet appointment. But if I get a chance, I'll hop back on later on today. If not, we're doing the sub-only scenario review tomorrow morning at somewhere between 9:30 and 10. But if y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. He's just getting an allergy shot. He's not doing anything crazy. He's just my big back dog that cost me too much money because he's allergic to everything like me. So it's totally fine. But if you all need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Don't forget to go out to, the YouTube channel and all of that kind of stuff. I wouldn't scribble things out, but you can cross them out. You can white out very small sections if you've made a mistake. But don't go whiting out like large amounts of information. If it's like one tiny little section, then you can definitely do that. I wouldn't scribble, but just try to make it as clean as possible. If you all have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Y'all have a good day.